A series of images from the most powerful telescope in the world was revealed this week, and they offer a stunning and unprecedented look into deep space. Here to discuss it is Eddie Whisler,
Hey.
a resident spaceman and planetarium director at the Museum of Science and History. Hi, Eddie.
Hello, hello.
Welcome from the outer layers and into the inner sanctum.
Yes, yes.
Thanks for being here. So,
Thank you for
first of
having me.
all,
It's
yes,
always fun.
it is always fun. And I just have to say, wow. I mean, these images are bananas. They are so extraordinary. Um, and we're going to be looking throughout this broadcast at images on for people watching our live stream so they can see. But these are images from this remote Chilean observatory. They just
Yes.
came out this week.
Yes. And they are beautiful. We have equally beautiful images as this coming from other telescopes. The power of the telescope itself, called the Vera Rubin, really comes from a different a different character about this telescope that maybe we'll get into. But yes, what we're looking at, and for viewers, it looks like galaxies like confetti. This
Mhm.
is the celebration of the universe. It really is. And when you see it, it just looks like a party. They're all dancing. These galaxies are interacting with one another. Gravity and dark matter are causing interactions and gravitational influences between and among many galaxies,
I want
two
to have that come
galaxies.
up again because I want you to talk specifically, though, I mean, we're not just seeing stars, we're seeing um, processes,
Yes.
we're seeing things actually occur. So, what's happening in that upper right?
So in the upper right, you could see three galaxies without knowing specifically what we might know, and we might not know anything about those galaxies because the Vera Rubin is taking this kind of high definition image across a huge field of view in the nighttime sky. But you could see how the stars are just kind of spilling out into surrounding space. And the processes that you're talking about are taking place over the course of billions of
But
years.
they're like merging. I mean, these are
Yes.
actually, we're watching these, what would be a static star, perhaps if you were even able to view it
Yeah.
at a distance, but we're actually watching these clouds around it that indicate that there's a process happening there. And then there's these spiral.
Yeah. And in the foreground, we see these like very symmetrical looking spiral galaxies for viewers. And the blue color uh, gives away the fact that it's packed with young stars as well. And so we have we just have two foreground stars that are clearly in the foreground. They just have this symmetrical spiral shape. Um, and then, in the upper right hand corner, we're looking at these spilled stars, these interactions between storms of stars that are carrying out. They're dancing. They're dancing around one
But
another.
we're able to see them. I mean, this image, I guess, is made from 678 separate images taken over 7 hours.
Yeah.
And so the amount of data that is coming from
Yes.
this new
Telescope.
technology,
Yeah.
this new telescope is enormous. I've heard a term I hadn't heard before, a petabyte of data, a
Yes.
petabyte.
Enormous. Drinking from fire hoses. So that leads into the next thing any one of those images could be taken by another telescope on Earth. But the power of the Vera Rubin is that it will take that image and then 30 seconds later be viewing another part of the sky, and then 30 seconds later slewing and finding another, and putting together a patchwork of the entire sky overhead every 3 nights,
And then stitching it together.
and stitching it together and just making the data available for anybody within 1 minute of taking the image. And so over time, there's this time domain of information. We'll learn about things because we'll run a movie of the universe over the course of 10 years.
And creating essentially a time-lapse video, but over a decade. And
Yes.
so this is just this enormous project, and we're seeing some images as well of the facility itself, which is kind of just this beautiful mountaintop location, and then this incredible camera inside that is absorbing the images and sending them out.
One image would require 400 high definition televisions in order to project, and is taking one of those every 3 nights. Over the course of 1 year, we'll have more data in the visible spectrum from this telescope than all telescopes in the visible spectrum that have ever come before added together.
And I should say the definition of a petabyte is 1 quadrillion bytes. But I saw an astronomer quoted saying that this is more data than everything that's ever been written in any language in human history collectively.
Yes, yes.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And so the big problem and the big challenge, besides the telescope itself, are the computers that have to sift through this, and the algorithms, and certainly the help from the AI that are going to be moving through all of this information and tagging events of importance. So every night there's going to be 10 million events of importance, and then you have to prioritize those. So the challenge is really how are you going to write the programming in order to prioritize those, select those, and then the other telescopes like James Webb slew in, look in, and do follow-on observations.
Well, it's a lot of data to process. It's fun to look at, and thank you for being here. We should say also this Saturday, July 12th is the final live concert at the planetarium.
Live concert.
All right. Eddie Whisler, thanks so much for being here.
You're super welcome.
All right. Love to see you.